everyone, thank you for joining me for another video. As you could hear, my voice is not on its best, but nevertheless I wanted to keep up appearances with this week's vlog. What a week it's been. Well, a few things getting revealed further and further on the world stage, from Bill Gates in talks with the UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson on how to roll out the vaccines with the pharma companies here in the UK. We're also hearing reports that many other nations such as Spain and France may be actually making it a mandatory vaccination, in which case mandatory vaccination is undoubtedly coming to all nations. How that goes about is one's guess right now, but I have my own thought on that. Also, it's a week where finally Pope Francis phones up Joe Biden, the so-called president-elect, and like other world leaders and news media outlets are congratulating Joe Biden on his apparent victory. There's rumours also, now that that phone call has happened, that Biden will be up for sainthood. He's going to be made a saint. Why? Because the many millions of electors who were raised from the dead for election day seem to have been progressing his cause for sainthood all the quicker. Yeah, my voice is going, so I'm going to try not to laugh and get to the point. So let's get started. Hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell notification icon in order to be notified from upcoming videos, because there's a few things, exciting things and projects, collaborations, where we're really going to be getting into something very good in the very near future. So without further ado, let's get started. Yeah, so Bill Gates isn't going away anywhere. It doesn't matter where, if the vaccine's coming from Germany or any other country. He's still got his finger in many pies. So it's going to be interesting to see how this develops. And the thing about the electoral votes, we just have to wait till January, because there's clearly a lot of constitution law where things are coming into place. So it's very interesting times of one way or another how that would go, with this civil unrest that seems to be heating up in America. But I just want to know, this is more of a community vlog where I want feedback, so please don't hesitate in getting in with the comments. What's your thoughts on these things? Where's it going? I personally believe our freedoms are being taken away bit by bit. And I want to just basically it came through discussion with friends the other night there, and I'm like, what happens if COVID was a person? A world leader, a dictator perhaps? Let's have a look at how this COVID world leader could actually fit in this time of history in the world. We are being put on a fear factor. We are being kept isolated through this fear factor, and now pushing in laws, drip feeding. And let's look at the fact that these past 8 months, if not the whole of this year, have basically been a conditioning phase. We now know how to queue up before walking into the supermarkets or the shops to buy our essential shopping items. Couldn't think of that a year ago, just 1 year ago. We're wearing the face masks with the psychological pressure that if we eventually do get into one of these shops or supermarkets, etc., we would be the bad person for not wearing it. You're putting others at risk. Why are you doing that? Stop being so stubborn and just, we're in this together. Wear your face mask. So my friends are basically, one friend says to me, I don't think they're going to force the vaccine. They can't do that. Not in this country, at least. It's not tyranny. It's not dictatorship. It's democracy. And when I say about this conditioning phase of the face masks, and the fact that even now we're getting prepared for a digital Christmas, it's the case of, well, it's like, it's not hard to believe. We might not get the army cracking down our doors and forcing us to get the injection, but it's the psychological thing, especially in the UK. It's all about nicey, but it's this psychological indoctrination where if you don't get the vaccine, you're a bad guy, you're a bad person, you're an enemy of society because you're putting others at risk. Well, my question to that is, if this promised vaccine happens to be what it says that will prevent us from getting COVID, then if those who get it can't catch COVID, how can I be risking them from getting it? Doesn't make sense in that layman's term question. But there's definitely something more happening. And if you noticed at the beginning of the week, I mean, I try to settle the bets. I'm not a gambler, man, but I put a bet on 50 to 1, special offer for new customers, that Donald Trump would win, 50 to 1. I also put on a couple of extra pounds here or there based on the categories of how many electoral votes he may get, 100 to 150, 151 to 220, you know, that type of thing. Those bets haven't been settled yet by the bookies, and I wonder why. Because they know the constitutional laws still in place. There's a lot to happen through December 14th and January 6th, I believe. So regardless of how much CNN want to blast it from the rooftops that Biden elect has won, then we'll see, you know. And this is where a lot of people are really praying, fasting, marching. They're doing a lot because they see the emergence of this one world government. And if you saw my last video, you know exactly what I'm speaking about. We're speaking about the Great Reset. We're speaking about the fact that global governorship is coming in more to play. And everyone from Pope to world leader to Bill Gates to the tech companies, everyone's getting involved in this to see where it comes for this Great Reset. So COVID and climate change, once you read into this stuff, is very much being politicised towards how to do an agenda. That's not a conspiracy theory, it's an evolving reality, as I've already said. If you watch some of the links I'll try and post down below, you'll see, like it's on the news, you'll see Prince Charles speaking about it all, you'll see Bill Gates speaking about it, you'll see many people coming together for this to happen, which is an annual meeting. Yeah, and keeping on with the story with the bookies, my bets are still there. There's still chance I could win, depending on what comes out of the Senate, the House of Representatives, the Supreme Court, or wherever. In the next couple of months I can wait, we'll see. But you know the one bet I couldn't make, and I wanted to see if I could get it. And I've said this all year, I really have, I know a lot of people have as well, and it might sound a little conspiracy, but listen to this. I wanted to bet that after the election, within a couple of months, 1 to 2 months, we would have a vaccine for COVID. I never thought that it would be within 48 hours after the election was seen as finalised. I mean, the CNN and all the other news media channels, literally within 48 hours, Biden won, we get the promised vaccine. And Trump is not getting a mention. But if you look at those debates he had with Biden on live TV for the world to watch, he spoke about it many times, not just in the debate, but other times as well, that the vaccine would be hoping to come in earlier than planned, definitely this side of Christmas, between now and the end of the year. Trump ain't getting a mention now that the vaccine's there. Instead, they're constantly promoting Biden. And then, at the same time, we see the stock markets. It was on the news channels all over. Big pharma companies, the tech giants, everyone. Green, and everyone's all clapping. Why? Because they're making a fortune of this promised vaccine. Must be great making all that profit and millions from people's misery, is it not? That's the greatness about capitalism. But yeah, let's move away from capitalism and get into global communism with the Great Reset. But we can't do it overnight. Let's just drip. Let's just drip feed it. Let me ask you, if COVID was a person, a world leader, a dictator, which may be, let's say, fitting, and for PC argument's sake, let's just call it him, because we've had Hitler, we've had Stalin, we've had, like, what's the Chinese, done even worse than them put together, I forget his name right now. If COVID had to be a person, we're isolated in our homes, we are isolated from our loved ones. COVID itself is going after those most vulnerable, the elderly, who, let's basically say, Hitler would call useless eaters, because these people who are vulnerable, elderly, maybe have physical, mental disabilities, are not putting into the machine, they're not putting into society. Instead, they're a burden on society now. They've done their part perhaps in their working years, those who did, but now they're costing the NHS here in the UK, any national health service and insurance companies the world over, it's constant money for treatment and looking after them. Yeah, let's just bring in euthanasia, as I would say. But let's stick with COVID as a person. If COVID is isolating us and attacking the most vulnerable in our society, ethnic minority groups, the black community, Asian community, apparently according to news channels, are most vulnerable for some reasons that COVID's attacking. If that had to be a person going after these groups of people, these communities, he would be a racist, he would be a tyrant, echoing those who've already came and tried things through other mights, such as military might. But now we are being cattle herded to line up for food, to line up wearing masks. And if you don't wear anything, you're the bad one. See the difference there, the twisted it. How to follow along with this, and now where it's going. Don't think about where it's at now and the vaccine's going to make it all better. It's where it's going next year with that great reset meeting with the World Economic Forum. It's going to be the point of the mandatory vaccines. What happens if you don't take the vaccine? We've already seen the psychological labels, but you're going against government. You're going against the point where they will refuse you to travel. They'll refuse you to be out and about. They'll refuse you basically to do anything, and therefore you have lost your freedom. But it's the psychological change, is the fact that they'll make you out the bad guy because everyone else is going like zombies to get the vaccine. I've had many vaccines. I've had the measles, I've had boosters as babies like we always get. I've had all these immunisations. I even got hepatitis shots when I was at university years ago because I was studying at the time to be a dietitian before everything changed in my life for the better. But I've had all these shots with no worries. I am not an anti-vaxxer by any manner of means. But the political timing of the year leading up to the US elections, I was always suspicious about COVID, as many others were. And within 2 days after the election, there's the promised vaccine. And here comes Bill Gates trapping on Boris Johnson's door and who others of world leaders where this is happening. And it might be mandatory. They're going to force it on us. People, the freedom and liberty has been taken away bit by bit, and it will be completely eradicated if they get their way with this great reset. It's time to stand up. It's time to prepare mentally, spiritually. And let me ask, in the point of the prepping world, it might be best to preemptively bug out, because if the time comes where these things are coming into play, right now we can still kind of travel, like I did in July when I went to Spain to Garabandal. I had to come back and self-isolate for 2 weeks, but right now we can travel. If it comes a point with the vaccines, we're passing this conditioning phase to where we'll need some sort of digital passport to show that we've had the vaccine, otherwise we can't get out and about, we can't buy and sell. It's back to Lucia Fatima when she says, if you want to know what's happening now, and this was decades ago, read chapters 8 to 13 of the book of Revelation, the book of the Apocalypse. We're speaking about a time of rise of the Antichrist, specifically in chapter 13. The world nations, we're speaking about how what can control us from buying and selling. I'm doing further videos to understand the real mark of the beast and other things, but right now there is something going on about the point of where this has finally arrived. Yeah, there's been Christian evangelists speaking about this for like decades, but there was never a real time to see how it could actually come to set, or how it could come to be, until now, I believe. I've always approached things with caution, with logic, with an open, objective mindset, but even this year, and particularly these last couple of months, have made me really sit up and say, something's definitely progressing here. It's time to be alert. It's time to really awaken in others who may be falling into this trap, and make them see with their own eyes and their own minds but without pressuring them. Give them the evidence, show them the videos, share the videos, not just mine but others that are out there. Keep it going, keep it burning the fuel, because resistance will always be there against tyranny. We might be outcast for it by the established media, the government and everything else, but resistance of the good will always win. History showed us that. It just might be difficult for many of us. It might lead to martyrdom for whatever's down the years, different things. This is just the beginning. So thank you for bearing with me with my sore throat. I hope you made out everything I've said. And I would really love your feedback, your comments, your open opinions. Get in there, and thank you for everyone who's done it so far. There really is a good side of community build up, and I know YouTube are all about community. I'm all about community, so I look forward to your comments below. Again, hit the subscribe button, the notification bell icon, because there are plenty more coming. And in the links below, you'll see that I have left a link for the Marian Apparitions Facebook page. I have over 10,500 members on this group. It is the platform to be on. I have a personal friend of Conchita, the Garabandal visionary, ready and waiting for that announced Day of the Miracle. It will be on the group page. Everything that's coming out in these days is Conchita keeps a low profile. This is where it's been shared. So get onto Marian Apparitions Facebook page and also follow me on Facebook, Prophecy Prepper, and I look forward to further interactions with you all. God bless.